Hello, Kirby World, and welcome to another edition of Year-End Growth Workshops here at World Headquarters. But this one's going to be a little different. I know that many of you, and we've heard this at Global Leadership, spend 5 minutes with Mark when he does all of his videos and does his talking points and selling points and how to make you better in the field and better as a dealer and then better as a distributor, all elements of Kirby. And I have a little segment, Recruiting with Randy, that we spend a lot of time with recruiters where we talk about how you can increase in recruiting, get better results in recruiting. What we're going to do right now, though, we thought we'd combine our two things together and would spend some time with Mark and Randy here at World Headquarters talking about a reflection of 2025 and where we are and where we're heading and what we're going to do. We thought that'd be best for us back and forth asking questions to each other.
Yeah, and really not so much where we are, but where we're going. When you look at what's going on in the Kirby world, we know the most important thing in Kirby has been and always will be people, right? So in order to get people, you have to recruit. And in order to recruit, there's two major ways. You have a recruiter, you have a platform or two or three or four or five or 10, and you're interviewing people and you're bringing people in every week into your recruiting program. Secondly, is a great Kirby Life with a real positive payout for Kirby Life people, right? Like we're in the phase 3 of the Kirby Life right now. Yeah. Premium demo bag, power tester. Hopefully somebody's going to win a $500 Visa card for having two. But if you're actively recruiting as a distributor and bringing in quality people, you can't fail in the Kirby business. Would you agree, Mr. McCreary?
I couldn't agree more on that because, you just made a great comment. It's where we're going. And I've always had the opinion that the future dictates what we do today, where we see ourselves in the first quarter of 2026, the second, third, and of course the end really kind of guides us in decisions we make today. And recruiting should be the focus of every organization, domestically and internationally. Because Kirby's not, Mark, you and I talk about this all the time. Kirby's not product driven, although we have the best product. It's not even sales driven. We talk about sales, but you just mentioned it's people driven. Mm-hmm. And distributors that have the most people obviously will get the most sales, and you're holding up a recruiting book.
Hold on, handsome?
Yeah.
Is that because many more men make many more sales?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
All right.
Now, would you elaborate? Why am I holding up this recruiting book?
Well, because we have a program here at World Headquarters that's available for people domestically, and if they chose to internationally, get your people here to World Headquarters for a 2-day working seminar about recruiting. Recruiting's changing. AI is going to be involved with recruiting. There's going to be a lot of things going on, but it's just going to make a better opportunity for the Kirby opportunity to be exposed to people looking for an opportunity like Kirby. Because recruiting is going to be the growth and the beginning of all that's going to happen in 2026. If we have more recruiters in more locations, we're going to have more people. We're just going to have more growth and more opportunity to sell more Kirbys.
So this is like the alpha and the omega, the
Yes.
beginning and the end?
Absolutely.
That's very aptly put. Come to Cleveland, attend a recruiting workshop.
Yep.
I also think that then once you get a bunch of people, the key to Kirby is number one, teaching them a proof book demo. How do you feel about that, Mr. McCreary?
We talk about that all the time. There are many different ways to demo a Kirby, but all the support material we have here at World Headquarters is enforced and is guided by, I'm going to flip that around.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
by the proof book demo. It's a selling demo, it's a teaching demo, and it's duplicatable. And that's the one thing we focus on. But once we do that, then I think the more important thing, not even more important, that ties into it though, Mark, is just running a great structured distributorship. And that involves a great morning meeting.
Oh my goodness.
And I think morning meetings are probably the key to growth in Kirby along with recruiting. And I know that's something you were big on in your distributorship. You ran huge morning meetings with large organizations and DTs. And how do you feel that plays in the growth and development of dealers when they come into Kirby?
Well, we had a lot going on back in the day. Again, people spread out throughout 5 or 6 different states, and every month we'd bring them all together. We'd recognize all the top people. We'd have our own, literally mini sales rally, banquet, breakfast meeting with awards. But most importantly, every day, if you have a strong morning meeting and you know what you're doing, you sing some Kirby songs, you have the counting them out, you bring up every dealer that gets a sale. It's like following the recipe. Mm-hmm. That's the Kirby business. It's like a Betty Crocker cookbook that you can do whatever you want if you follow the recipe. So if you got those dealers and they're excited and they're hearing how I got the sale yesterday, now I want to go out and deep clean a mattress and talk about putrefactic body ash because you told me you sold a Kirby because of the dust mite feces that came out of the bed. So now I am going to do that better than I ever did before, and every day you're getting better and better. And then of course, we always say it's not a morning beating, it's a morning meeting. You have to have a clinic, you have to turn on the Kirby, you have to literally pull some dirt pads. When you're pulling some dirt pads, we've got right here, Kirby Sales Clincher book. And if you're literally now pulling dirt pads, hitting your dealers with sales clinchers, having your dealers repeat the sales clincher, and you're doing this every day, then after a couple weeks, your dealers are becoming better, more proficient, more confident, and they're just you're helping them to help themselves, which is really about just doing a quality demo and asking people to buy a Kirby.
And I mean, that's what, when we sit here and talk, I mean, I don't know that Mark and I really need an introduction, but we've got, Mark, you started Kirby back in 1980. I started in Kirby in 1980. This is now going into 2026. So that's about 80 plus years of experience in Kirby. And Kirby doesn't change. And like he said, the recipe is all you have to follow. If you're recruiting consistently 52 weeks a year and then running strong morning meetings, that's going to lead to then building a good team management or a good field management team. And I know you promoted over 30 DTs and were a Gold Circle distributor 11 times, even won that twice as a divisional supervisor. How do you feel about getting people to go from selling to teaching people how to sell and leading them in the field every day as team leaders?
Well, great question. I think the team leaders are the backbone of the Kirby business, but here's the key. If you as a leader aren't teaching your team leaders what to do and how to do it every day through strong management meetings before your morning meeting, then your team leaders may be going out there and not doing a great job. So we need quality team leaders working with quality dealers, and the team leader comes from being on your crew. Like, I'm keying on you because you've got a license, you're somewhat intelligent, I get you a month of 15, possibly 2 months of 15, you win the pro club. Now we get you behind the wheel of a vehicle, but you've watched me knock doors. You know how to knock doors. You understand how to check on dealers and how to go in and make a friend with a consumer. If I didn't pull enough pads, you're going to do the knockout, and you're going to come back and close every deal, or at least have the opportunity to ask the people to buy the Kirby, because sometimes a dealer might be a little nervous, but you're going to come in there with that confidence. The people love you. You're already on a first name basis with them. You're going to ask them to help little Johnny get his sale, and you're going to maybe do something special. Maybe you'll go a little longer with the payment. Maybe you'll bring the down payment down a little bit. But a good team leader is trying to close every demo all day and all night and in every one of those homes, because that's going to retain the dealers, and that's going to make more money for me as a dealer, you as a team leader. So it's just really creating a good team leader and then checking up on what your team leader is doing. And at the end of every night, especially with the advent of cell phones, this is all so easy now, they're texting you a picture of their demo log. So you know what time they hit the field, you know what they're doing in the field, you know who's got sales, you're calling them at 5 o'clock for the checkup, right? And you're making sure we have a good night round every night. And of course, you're tying all that in with contests every day in your morning meeting, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly contests, so everybody in your organization is motivated.
We talked about recruiting, how important it is. We talked then about morning meetings, how important they are for the structure of that new dealer. And then you're talking about leading as an example, all right, as a team leader and developing team leaders and make little people like you. And we have the Team Leader Handbook here by Chris Fogg.
Follow the
a
recipe.
Phenomenal book. You can't go wrong. There's one last element we wanted to talk about before we let you go for today, and that's promotions, all right? And when you first come into Kirby, we talk about the opportunity to be promoted, and then you get put onto a program, and we know written programs keep people in Kirby, unwritten programs people leave. But the promotions are what retain people, the training is what gives them the knowledge to move up and forward in Kirby. And when you talk about DT promotions, what are the benefits, Mark, of staying in Kirby and moving up and becoming a factory distributor?
Well, this normally starts right when you're about to have a K-Pin dinner with your brand new dealer when he gets his K-Pin, and hopefully his boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, and you're going to talk to them about where they are and what they're doing and the opportunity in Kirby, and that's really the back of the pap sheet, because all these programs are designed for retention. Everything that we do in Kirby, all the phenomenal Kirby programs, I want to know about as a dealer, because that's going to motivate me to be a team leader so that then I can become a DT. And it's almost like following the career growth cycle. You know, a lot of people gamble from time to time. We go to Vegas quite often with Kirby. And the idea is, you know, you got to know when you win, it's important to not hang out and give all that money back. When you really have a nice thing going on in Kirby and you get to that peak performance level, you got to get promoted. That's when you got to become a team leader. Then you become a good team leader, you got to get promoted and open your own business. Because if you become a DT and you're on a sustainable, a real promotion program to become a factory distributor, and I like this 5-point program we've been working in 2025, you're opening up your business, you have a set goal of maybe 300 purchases and sales, you're recruiting every week as a DT because you can't open without a recruiter. It just, again, you have to do the right things. But now, if I can then become a factory distributor, it's all making sense to me. So everything I'm doing in Kirby is for one reason. It's not to sell vacuum cleaners, it's to own a Kirby franchise. And I think that's the beauty of what we do in Kirby. We change people's lives.
I know that Kirby's changed my life. We talk about that. I know it's changed yours. And that's one of the joys that Mark and I get, because our departments here at World Headquarters are kind of conjoined. By that I mean I get the privilege of talking to the people that get to recruit people to come into the business. Once we recruited them, then all the stuff we just talked about, the program, the training, the opportunity to get promoted, they switch over to Mark and he kind of tracks them and puts them on the track with the supervisor and the FD and gets those new locations opened up. So
Absolutely.
The Kirby opportunity in 2025 was phenomenal. It's going to be better in 2026. I know we're looking forward to a great global leadership coming up in Vegas. You just mentioned Vegas.
Yes, sir.
We're going to be there, and we're going to be looking at distributors there that are learning how to sell $1,200 a month or $1,200 a year, which is $100 a month, going on to Gold Circle and even beyond. So we appreciate the time you've been spending with Mark and I over these past couple of weeks on these year-end growth workshops. It's always a privilege we have to speak to you guys about the Kirby opportunity, because we know what it's done for ourselves and our family.
Yeah. And as we end all of these broadcasts, we are
positive.
And we are
out. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.